Welcome to the class of 2021 commencement ceremony. My name is Bill Wingler, and I'm the principal of Strongsville High School. Joining us this afternoon are very proud parents, guardians, grandparents, and other family members. Seated with our graduates are our dedicated educators, including teachers, guidance counselors, monitors, aides, and various other staff members. Additionally, we have our assistant principals, Mrs. Susan Harb, Mr. Eric Castle, and Mr. Sean Collins. Those who are seated up here to help support the student achievement are immensely proud of the class of 2021 and the difficult road they have traveled to finally get to this day. In addition, I would like to take a second to introduce some of the dignitaries seated on the stage. Our superintendent, Dr. Cameron Ryba, our assistant superintendent, Mrs. Jenny Pelko, our treasurer, George Anagastu, our Board of Education members, President Mr. Richard Miko, Vice President Mrs. Laura Wolfhausen, Mrs. Michelle Bissell, Mrs. Sherry Buckner-Salee, and Mr. Seth Roberts. Our senior class advisor, Mrs. Jen Orlowski. I'd like to take a second to acknowledge the following for their contributions to getting our seniors here. The Strongsville Police Department, Mr. Scott Benson, and our senior singers who will be performing today. Any student who is enlisting or planning to enlist. Your class quote is "Go into the world and do well," but more importantly, "Go into the world and do good" by Minor Myers Jr. This is an appropriate quote for this class to live by, as they have certainly left their mark on Strongsville High School. At the high school, our motto is excellence in academics, the arts, and athletics. Parents, guardians, our school board, and to the Strongsville community, I want to take a second to fill you in on just what this class has been up to this year to exhibit excellence in the areas of academics, arts, and athletics. So when I call you out for an achievement, please stand. Any senior receiving an honors diploma, please stand. Thank you. You may be seated. Members of the National Honor Society, the Polaris Center Honor Society, Mu Alpha Theta, Rho Kappa, the Art National Honor Society, and the Spanish Honor Society, please stand. Thank you. Any student receiving recognition as a National Merit semifinalist, please stand. Thank you. Any student who is a commended National Merit finalist and/or a National Merit winner, please stand. Thank you. DECA members who qualified for state competition, please stand. Thank you. Any DECA member that qualified for the national competition, please stand. Thank you. Members that qualified for our mock trial team, please stand. Thank you. Any student receiving an associate degree or a double degree from one of our participating College Credit Plus programs, please stand. Thank you. If you are a member of our national champion girls soccer team, please stand. Thank you. Members of our regional winning girls basketball team, please stand. Thank you. Members of our state qualifying swimming and diving teams, please stand. Any member who qualified for state boys or girls cross country, please stand. Members of the state qualifying boys golf team, please stand. Members of our state qualifying gymnastics team, please stand. Any member of our district qualifying wrestling team, please stand. Members of our regional qualifying girls lacrosse team, please stand. Members of our district qualifying softball team, please stand. Any member of our regional qualifying boys and girls track team, please stand. Thank you. Members of our state qualifying dance team, please stand. Any individual receiving recognition of all district, all state, or all American honors, please stand. Any individual receiving an athletic scholarship, please stand. Any member of our choir, band, or orchestra which received a ranking of excellent or superior at a state competition, please stand. Any individual earning a scholarship in the arts, either locally or through a university, please stand. Would the members of our student council please stand? Thank you. The members of the Key Club please stand. Thank you. So I'm going to stop now because we could do this until 6 p.m. And I'm worried about the graduates getting dehydrated from standing and sitting so much. Obviously, these young men and women in front of you have been very busy leaving their mark on this high school, our community, and the world. As you move on to the next chapter in your life, don't forget the lessons you have been taught by your parents, teachers, coaches, advisors, and the many role models that have helped get you here. These lessons will serve you well and will allow you to continue leaving your mark. Congratulations to the class of 2021. It has been an honor for me to be here as your principal this year. At this time, will the members of the SHS choir please join me on the stage? At this time, if you are able, please rise for the presentation of colors, courtesy of the Strongsville Police Department Color Guard, and the singing of the national anthem and alma mater by our senior members of the Strongsville High School Choir.
So proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still
At this time, I would like to introduce you to your Student Council President, Marquis Globokar.
All right, hello. As Mr. Ringler mentioned, my name is Marquis Globokar, and I was the 2021 Student Council President. Carpe diem. In Latin, it translates to seize the day, which means taking control of what lies ahead of you and making the best out of your situation, no matter what challenges you may encounter. It's the shortened version of a longer phrase that emphasizes how you never know what tomorrow will bring. Even though the future of tomorrow is unknown, your actions today can make a difference. I believe that the way you overcome challenges today will indicate what kind of a person you will be tomorrow. During my freshman year, I joined the cross-country team. For those of you who don't know, training for cross-country begins in the dog days of summer and involves running anywhere from 20 to 40 miles a week in preparation for a 5K or 3.1-mile race. Now, I'm sure some of you think I'm crazy and can't understand why anyone would run that much unless someone was chasing them. But for me, I came to love this sport, especially because of my teammates. Unfortunately, I experienced a hip injury that prevented me from running. But I was not going to let this setback prevent me from doing what I loved, so I dedicated myself to becoming stronger and increasing my flexibility. When I encountered this injury, I could have decided to give up running, but instead, I chose to take control of my life and face this issue head-on. As the class of 2021, we were forced to encounter numerous challenges. This year alone, we spent half the year interacting with our classmates and teachers behind a screen, smiling with our eyes because our mouths were covered by masks, and adapting to several new learning environments. The barriers that were placed in front of us when our society was under lockdown made it difficult to bond with friends and stay connected. Teachers tried their best to educate us through computers, but we were ultimately forced to take learning into our own hands. We developed as students, became more comfortable with technology, and utilized the resources around us. Despite all of the adversity we faced, we climbed over those barriers that this pandemic built, and I believe there's nothing we can't handle. The fact that we are here today is a testament to our resilience, hard work, and dedication to overcoming adversity, and I believe our experiences will ensure success for the future. As a class, we took advantage of every opportunity we had to make this year the most memorable and made the best out of our situation. We truly seized each and every day with the help of those around us. That being said, I want you to think of all the people who have helped you get to this very point. Maybe you start thinking about your teachers, friends, or your family members. People who encouraged and supported you along the way, such as your coaches who pushed you to your limits, advisors who provided you with guidance, or your friends who always made you smile. No matter who you thought of, the main point is that there are so many people who have impacted your life thus far. People who helped you overcome adversity and become the person you are today. For me, those people were athletic trainers who provided me with the skills to succeed, my coaches who challenged me daily, my teammates who acted like my second family, and most of all, my parents who always supported me. All their help led me to become a successful cross-country runner. It took me almost 3 years to overcome my injury and finally have a healthy season in which I qualified to regionals. My hip injury had a major impact on my course of self-discovery, and it resulted in the development of my strong work ethic. Part of me is glad that I encountered this challenge because it helped me develop into the person I am today. Now, today is officially your last day as a high school student, and in addition to congratulating everyone, I would like to wish all of you good luck as you embark on your journey ahead. No matter which path you take, you are bound to encounter challenges, and how you choose to overcome them will dictate what your future will look like. I always try to look on the bright side. When I see a challenge, I see it as an opportunity to become better, and I hope that all of you will recognize it as that too. Every challenge you have faced so far has made you stronger and will set you up for success in the future. Throughout this year, we have learned that we are stronger together, and even when times get tough, we can be tougher. It has been an honor having opportunity to speak in front of all of you. I know that each of you are capable of achieving great success if you take control of your life and choose to carpe diem, seize the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Marquis. At this time, I would like to invite Charles Lynn to join me at the podium. Charles is this year's Phi Beta Kappa recipient. Charles has been nominated by our staff as being the single student most worthy of recognition for outstanding scholarship, academic initiative, and total achievement. The Phi Beta Kappa recipient represents the collective judgment of professional teaching staff as the most scholarly of the senior students. As part of this recognition, Charles has been asked to address the class of 2021.
What's up, guys? How we all doing? Yeah, good. That's what I like to hear. So, I was given the very rare opportunity to be able to speak twice today, once now and once later in the afternoon. And you know, I was really debating whether I should switch out one of my speeches for something like a stand-up routine, but unfortunately, I don't think that's possible. I think I'm obligated to give my speech at both halves. You know, I don't want Mr. Wingler to throw a fit. So, you guys will get my commencement speech. As I sat down to rewrite this speech for the dozenth time, I really started to think about what I actually want to accomplish through my speaking. Should I greet everyone with a good morning, good afternoon, or a what's up, guys? What if I sound too formal? What if I sound too informal? Am I gonna sound dumb if I use contractions? Will Mr. Wingler come and pull me off stage for using slang? While these questions bounced around my head, I was struck by an epiphany. Who cares? In my previous 11 iterations of this speech, I was too concerned with how me and my words would be perceived and if my message would be profound enough. I wanted to sound intelligent and eloquent as I delivered an awe-inspiring speech with a generic motif of an optimistic future. But today isn't about me. It is about us, as a collective, gathered here today to celebrate our accomplishments up to this point. So, in honor of that, I will not bore you with rhetoric about the future being bright or having the determination to push past adversity. Instead, I want to talk about what you, my fellow classmates and graduates, have taught me over the past 4 years. Unquestionably, high school has been an arduous journey, and for many of us, one of self-growth, physically and mentally. Along the way, we have made unforgettable friendships and memories, all while running the gauntlet of homework, essays, tests, and projects. I'm gonna be honest. Freshman year was weird. Back then, we would stress about things like where the bathrooms were, remembering our locker combinations, or not missing the bus. Life was simple. Or so it seemed at the time. In retrospect, things were much more complex as we tried to establish ourselves in a new environment amongst the titans who were upperclassmen. Moving on into our sophomore year, we were starting to settle in and discover ourselves and our friends. Everything seemed a little less daunting. At the midpoint of our high school journeys, we were comfortable, all geared up in preparation for the next 2 years, which would undeniably be the most exciting. Junior year, the year of GBED. G-B-E-D. Get better every day. Though this model devolved into something of a joke after hearing it for the 100th time in the first week, I believe these are genuinely good words to live by. As a class, we've embodied the spirit of GBED throughout our high school careers, steadily improving ourselves in all facets of our lives. And finally, senior year. Senior year was also pretty weird. And it was also nothing like High School Musical 3. Due to unprecedented times and unusual circumstances, our senior year was far from typical. By the way, if I had $1 for every time I heard those phrases this year, I wouldn't have to work for the rest of my life. Despite these setbacks and hurdles, we persevered and made the best of our last year in high school. This perseverance is a testament to our determination as a class, which is best defined as an optimistic tenacity, an indication that we are ready for the future. So, what can we learn from this 4-year journey? Undoubtedly, we now possess the technical and academic proficiency to pursue higher education or join the workforce. After all, we will shortly be receiving a piece of paper that can reaffirm this. However, beyond all the English, history, math, arts, and science classes, there's so much more to take away from high school. In fact, the most important lesson I learned can be summed up in a quote from a classmate during English class, which is ironic because I spent a lot of time zoned out in that class. But the quote went something like this: "You may have an explanation, but not an excuse. You may have an explanation, but not an excuse." In today's society, we are going through a shortage. Not of gold, gas, toilet paper, or McDonald's ice cream, although that is certainly something that we need to address. No. Today, we suffer from a shortage of empathy. Take a moment to consider this. Of the hundreds of people in this stadium, every person here lives a life as intricate and complex as your own. We all juggle our own everyday tasks, our own emotions, and our own thoughts. Our unique stories and circumstances are what set us apart from each other, yet it is our individuality that makes us all the same. The common denominator is that we are all different. We are all human. As we push forward into the future, it is crucial that we recognize our differences and view them not as signs of division, but as unity. We must wield empathy as a means to understand each other, to feel what others feel, and to see the world from a new lens. We must let empathy become the driving force for progress, sparking innovation for the sake of humanity, free of selfish intentions. The true strength of humans lies in our ability to come together, to recognize, to understand, and to empathize. So, class of 2021, as we approach a limitless future, I ask of you this: find a purpose for life beyond yourself. Learn to care for another, or many other lives, as if they are your own. For the greatest contributions will be made when we live for each other. And one last thing. In order to live out my dreams of being Troy Bolton, I will leave you with these words: once a Mustang, always a Mustang. Thank you.
So today, being presented with gold tassels are students who are the top scholars for the class of 2021. These students have earned the academic right to represent the top 5% of their graduating class. As I call your name with the top 5%, please come forward at this time. Go to the center stage where our superintendent, Dr. Rybel, will present you with your honor cord. I would also like for the parents, guardians of the child whose name I call to stand as well. Elias Asmar, attending Cleveland State University. Matthew Cornelius, attending the University of Notre Dame. Delaney Cunningham, attending Ohio University Honors Tutorial College. Nicholas Saranic, attending The Ohio State University. Isabella Estefan, attending Kent State University. Matthew Fragapane, attending Purdue University. Malini Gadamanagu, attending Baldwin Wallace University. Marquis Globakar, attending Case Western Reserve University. Timothy Heflin, attending the University of Dayton. Jordan Hamaki, attending Miami University. Miranda Lee, attending Washington University. Charles Lynn, attending Case Western Reserve University. Congratulations, members of the top 5%. You may be seated. Dr. Ryba and the members of the Strongsville City School Board of Education, it is my pleasure to present the class of 2021 for conferring diplomas. By the authority invested in my position by the State of Ohio and the Board of Education, I attest that those seated before you have completed all graduation requirements and are ready to receive their Strongsville High School diplomas. At this time, I'd like to introduce our superintendent, Dr. Cameron Ryba.
Good afternoon, everyone. First of all, I have to say, 15 months after we had to shut down the district, to see a stadium full of parents and family members and students, it's just a phenomenal thing to be together once again. And Marquis and Charles, thank you for making me feel like I should rewrite my speech right now after hearing you two speak. But here we go, here's what I've got. So on behalf of the Board of Education and all of our administrators, teachers, and staff, it's my distinct honor to celebrate you, the class of 2021. This is always a time to celebrate, but there is something a little extra special about this class. Who would have thought 13 years ago when you entered kindergarten that you would spend the last year and a half of your school career in the midst of a pandemic? You endured the uncertainty, the challenges and the roadblocks, and the windstorm that just picked up in the middle of my speech. And you've still risen above to be resilient. You've been adaptable as we went from remote learning to blended learning to in-person learning to remote learning to blended learning and all back again. You were innovative as you found creative solutions when faced with uncertain challenges, and while others may have given in, you persevered. We have seen our students compete, including celebrating our girls' team's state championship. We have enjoyed our students' performances in a winter play and a spring musical. We've been inspired by our musicians as we return to live concerts this spring. And we have been proud of the academic achievements of our students, even through the challenges of remote learning environments. All of you are to be commended and celebrated for what you have accomplished. We must also celebrate and recognize those that got you here today. Your teachers, your support network at school, your friends, your family, and most importantly, your parents. Your parents who didn't sign up to be your teacher, but were called upon and jumped in to help support your learning at home during this past school year. Now, a few weeks ago, I was scrolling through my newsfeed and came across an article sharing common sayings that many of us have grown up hearing from our parents. Sayings such as better late than never, or don't count your chickens before they hatch. Although we can latch on to these common catchphrases, some are just bad advice. Like the one, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Well, living up to this mantra doesn't always work. By a show of hands, graduates, how many of you have ever heard a company called Kodak? Put your hands down, you're ruining the point of my speech. So, the reason you've never heard of this company is because it was the leading camera company years ago when film photography was popular, but they said, hey, this digital photography thing, this thing's a fad. It's all gonna go away, and that's why Kodak is fighting bankruptcy right now. So the real advice is not if it ain't broke, don't fix it. It's if it ain't broke, find a better way to make it better, faster, stronger, or more efficient. Or one of my favorites, if you find a career you love, you will never work a day in your life. Well, I love my career, but trust me, it is still work. Maybe a more accurate statement is find a career you love and watch yourself gain 20 pounds, turn gray in your mid-40s, and have people ask you why you look exhausted all the time. That was a good one. I appreciate the laughter. I was waiting for that one. It's pretty bad when you laugh at the jokes you wrote. But these common phrases got me thinking about what advice does matter. What advice can help you as you look to start the new beginning in your life? We all probably watched a lot of movies during the pandemic, and an older movie I watched with my kids was City Slickers. And in that movie, one of the characters shared that the secret to life is just one thing. But that one thing is what you have to figure out. As talented young people that are looking back on your school career and looking forward to the next phase of your life, you'll be searching for this one thing. The one thing that drives you and brings fulfillment to your life. For many years in my life, that one thing may have been getting a degree, moving ahead in my career, making some money, buying a house, or starting a family. It's not that these things are not important. You have to have goals. It's good to be driven and to set into action the plan to achieve your dreams so that you can realize the life you want to live. But if you become so focused on that next step, that next accomplishment, you may miss the wonder and joy that comes with each phase of your lives. Brené Brown shares that joy is not a constant. It comes to us in moments, ordinary moments. Sometimes we miss out on these bursts of joy because we're too busy chasing the extraordinary. So that is my one thing, the one thing that keeps me going through the ups and downs, the successes and failures, in the quiet times and in the midst of a pandemic. To find joy in life. So my advice to you today is to find joy in the moments. Today is a big moment, but the joy that will last from today may not be getting the diploma or the grad party that's in store later this summer, but that hug from a family member where you can feel their pride for what you have accomplished. The smile from someone you care about, or your parent that after doing this for multiple years, I'm sure is going to embarrass you shortly by blowing an air horn and screaming your name. Parents, that's your cue. Where's the air horn at? No air horn? There you go. At least we got a whistle. We got to work on that for the 3 o'clock show, Mr. Wingler. So that's where the joy is, these little moments. Be present, be engaged, and for it is these little moments that make a lasting impression and can be missed if we don't take time to see them. Second, find joy in the grind. They say good things come to those that wait. Wrong. Good things come to those that are willing to do the things that others are unwilling to do. Those that are willing to brace the grind. To achieve something you've never had, you have to be willing to do something you've never done. Find joy in the incremental progress and the satisfaction that the grind will allow you to achieve only what others dream. Find joy in being you. Today it seems we're so focused on what makes us different when we could focus on what makes us unique and special. Find joy in who you are. The beautiful parts, the quirky parts, and the parts that need some work. The only like that matters is you liking you for who you are and what you offer others in this world. And finally, find joy in the journey. Sometimes we are so focused on the destination, we fail to enjoy the road along the way. I know I'm old to all of you, but it feels like just yesterday I was sitting in your chair and the most popular question I received was, what are your plans after high school? I would give a standard answer, but deep down, I really didn't have a clue. I switched majors a couple of times and eventually found my focus. That path led me to travel Europe and United States as a musician. It led me to find my wife, which led to 2 beautiful children. It led to a fulfilling career and opportunities that I couldn't foresee at the age of 18 years old. You don't have to have it all figured out now. Find joy in the winding road and in where it will lead you, as long as that road eventually leads out of your parents' house. So class of 2021, you have been challenged in your final years of school, but it's been your ability to stand up, to view these challenges as opportunities that has set you apart and makes your experience unique and memorable. This last year may not have followed the playbook we all hope to cap off your senior year, but it's because of you and your focus on what is possible versus what was lost that makes today a special day, a joyful day. Graduates, I wish you the very best that life has to offer. And I hope you find joy in the moments, the grind, in being uniquely you, and the journey into turning your dreams into a reality. At this time, it's my privilege to introduce board member Ms. Sherry Buckner-Salee. Thank you.
Next time I do this, I'm gonna ask to go first. Because Charlie called my speech boring. Cameron took all my words. But thank you, Cameron. I feel like I've been through these last 13 years with you. I was there on your track and field days in elementary school. I bought your Girl Scout cookies. I've attended your orchestra, band, and choir concerts. I cheered at your sporting events, watched you cheer at a sporting events, and enjoyed your theater performances. You could say I've been stalking you. And you wouldn't be the first person that has said that to me. After all, I have kids myself, and they've accused me of stalking. And now, after all these years together, I have the honor and privilege of speaking with you on your final day of high school and watch you transition to the next phase of your life's journey. I'm very impressed by all of your accomplishments and so proud of you. But as much as you've accomplished in these 18, 17, and 19 years, this is not your last hurrah. I wish I can pour into you all of the best of what I know and what I've learned throughout the years and guide you safely through the pitfalls of life. But unfortunately, that isn't how life works. And even if I had the ability to point out all the landmines, you probably wouldn't listen to me anyway. How do I know this? I know this because I had many people in my life who I now know tried to give me good advice. But since I knew everything when I was 18, I didn't listen. That's how it is. We have to live our own lives and chart our own paths. We have to fail sometimes badly, but we must get back up and try again. That's the only way to grow and find success. Do not live life so cautiously that you fail by default. That was a quote by J.K. Rowling, who had her own struggles before she authored the successful Harry Potter series. You will experience setbacks, and you will fail if you choose to live bravely and spread your wings and set your goals high. But you will also need to have the ability to get back up and dust off your shoulders and continue on. That is resilience. And by the way, resilience isn't something that you either have or don't have. You can strengthen that resilience muscle with practice. When you encounter problems with your coworkers or face difficult situations, instead of throwing up your hands and run away, make the decision to face your problems head on, thus sharpening your resilience muscle. When you're in college taking that advanced accounting class, resilience will be your best friend if you can embrace it and understand that resilience, the ability to adapt well in the face of adversity, will help you reach your goals. But I know you have resilience because you're here. You're the class that spent your senior year battling a pandemic. I have this quote stenciled on a wooden frame on my nightstand. The quote is from the movie The Help, and the main character, Abilene, tells one of the children in the home where she works, "You are kind, you are smart, you are important." And she told the child that regularly to build her self-esteem. I hope that you know you are smart, you are inherently kind, and you are most certainly important. Sometimes we obsess about comparing ourselves to others, which is easy to do if you're on any social media platform. I know I do. Like, ooh, wow, Jennifer does this and she does that. Like, while she's doing this and that, I'm watching a Lifetime movie. I need to up my game. But often we're comparing the worst of ourselves to the best of others. And like Theodore Roosevelt has been attributed with saying, comparison is the thief of joy. You are here to run your own race. I love watching track. I'm not a runner, but I love watching it. And in track, you are often racing against your PR, your own personal record. If you measure yourself against your own personal best, then you won't need to look at what your neighbor or friend has. You can look at your own goals to determine how close you are to the life that you desire. We start at different points, and we have different struggles, and we find our stride at different times in life. Don't be discouraged if someone is accomplishing their goals at a faster pace than you are. Remember, comparison is the thief of joy. I wish you understood that you are valuable and your voice matters and deserves to be heard. I know some of you know that already because I've seen you come to board meetings and express how you feel. Sometimes we look at a person's position or title or the way they may exude confidence, and we lose our own confidence. You've heard the expression, having a seat at the table. We all have a seat at the table in our homes, our work, and our communities. We just have to use our voice. Once you acknowledge the power of your own voice, then you can use your voice to change the complexion of the space where you live, go to school, and work. Use your voice to make a positive difference in your spaces. It can be simply offering a kind word to your fellow classmates or coworker. You can change a wrong that's happening in your school or work environment just by using the power of your voice. Sometimes everyone is seeing the same thing that's going wrong or needs to be fixed, but no one steps up. Let that person be you. Have the courage to use your seat at the table to make a difference. I want you to know that it's your responsibility to go out into this world and craft a life for yourself. Design your life as if you're creating an avatar in a video game. You know, the games where you create an entire community. You can design your home, your street, and all that. Where do you want to live? What do you want your home to look like? Who will be your friends? What occupation will you have? Feel empowered to create the life you want to live. And when someone creates a beautiful life for themselves, that doesn't diminish the opportunities you have to have a beautiful life. It is not a zero-sum game. There is room for all of us to be fulfilled and happy. We need each and every one of you to reach your fullest potential. That will be your most significant contribution to society. And when you become the very best version of yourself, you make room for me and all of us to be successful, to be your authentic self, unapologetically. When you do that, you breathe life into your dreams, and your contribution may be the spark and inspiration for someone else who dreams. And in making your dreams a reality, don't forget to reach back and help someone else. Each one, teach one. As you enter the next phase of your life, remember the lessons of your parents. The most valuable lessons you learn from your parents and teachers and coaches are before first grade. If you practice these, you will earn the respect of your peers. When you fall down, get back up and try again. Be kind and respectful. Treat people the way you would like to be treated. Be a leader. Have the courage to use your seat at the table to make your community a better place. Don't compare yourself to your neighbor. Design a life that comforts your soul. As you're striving to reach your goals, reach back, encourage someone else. Exhibit good sportsmanship. Win and lose gracefully. There is no passion to be found in playing small and setting a life that is less than the one you're capable of living. And that was Nelson Mandela. When you're running this race of life, give it all you got. Do what you would do if you thought you wouldn't fail at anything. Put yourself out there as if you knew you were loved by everyone. You are ready to fly. I have the highest expectations for this class. I expect this group to accomplish great things. Farewell, class of 2021. Best of luck to you. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ryba and Mrs. Salee. So at this time, we're going to do the presentation of diplomas. Audience, the graduates request that in spite of Dr. Ryba getting you all to whistle loudly, that you refrain from applause or comments until each individual has received his or her diploma. Please refrain from standing or leaving your seat to take photos or video. On behalf of the graduates, thank you in advance for honoring that request. At this time, I would like to call upon Mrs. Orlowski, Mr. Faust, Superintendent Dr. Ryba, and the members of the Board of Education to assist in the distribution of diplomas.
Last time I checked from Annabelle, didn't
Marquis Nicole Globacar.
Timothy James Heflin.
Charles Donghung Lin.
Jordan Renee Homoki.
Emily Marissa Lytle.
Miranda Lee.
Elias Joseph Asmar.
Kador Abd Ali.
Matthew William Cornelius.
Isabella Jean Abruzzino.
Delaney Jameson Cunningham.
Hyatt Muhammad Abu Hamde.
Nicholas Andrew Saranic.
Abdel Karim Abdallah Abu Kahil.
Isabella Elise Estefan.
Asma Muhammad Abu Khalil.
Matthew Joseph Fragapane.
Rayan Hazim Abuzaria.
Malini Gadomanugu.
Yadiel Augusto.
Shima Ashar Laird.
Madeline Elise Baker.
Said Rami Ahmad.
Ryan Luciano Becos. Good catch, buddy.
Nariman Mohammed Ahmed.
Jack Ballas.
Sophia Catherine Allange.
Jakayla Sierra Banks.
Iba Ahmoud.
Martina Imad Barsum.
Lauren Rachel Andrasik.
Megan Elizabeth Bassnett.
Madeline Kathleen Applegate.
Reagan Lissy Bass.
Emma Elizabeth Arrigi.
Brooke Elizabeth Bauman.
Andrew George Arslanian.
Arizona Rose Beck.
Madison Kaylee Bagani.
Reagan Isabella Beck.
Mitchell James Beam.
Evan John Blahovic.
Dryant Berry.
Sarah Danielle Blasco.
Alatius Raylyn Belvin.
Ethan John Blazetic.
Madeline Grace Berardi.
Leah Elizabeth Brom.
Olivia Rose Buey.
Brooke Noel Brengartner.
Sophia Caitlin Birch.
Abigail Grace Brickle.
Ryan Thomas Blados.
Bryce Thomas Brodick Swoll.
Noelle Marie Blaha.
Noah Christopher Bruning.
Mia Lynn Burrington.
Justin Buchani.
Janelle Nicole Burrows.
Matthew Gary Budney.
Tyler Allen Byers.
Rachel Marie Castle.
Anna Jane Caldwell.
Diane Ruth Kastner.
Morgan Edward Campbell.
Alexandria Rochelle Caudle.
Ryan Anthony Campbell.
Kelly Marie Shaveda.
Marcus Anthony Caruth.
Alvina Sotia Chia.
Megan Ann Caruth.
Zachary James Chippy.
Brian Arnold Carey.
Connor Joseph Chupek.
Blake Andreas Case.
Alton Joseph Chanelli.
Gavin Michael Kohlberg.
Jennifer Rachel Safranek.
Jacob Ryan Cook.
Alyssa Rose Sereno.
Grace Rebecca Cotton.
Nicholas John Cuppage.
Lindsay Kendall Cox.
Kyle Valentine Swarkowski.
Nicholas Matthew Cox.
Erica Emmeline Davidson.
Jack James Crotty.
Caitlin Olivia Matrona DeBow.
Dominic Michael Croy.
Michael Robert DeLuca.
Kayla Marie Cummings.
Luke David Dimmerly.
Tyler James Cummins.
Connor Douglas Dinkos.
Angelina Grace DeCola.
Olivia Catherine DePhillips.
Andrew Dinescu.
Om Manishkumar Desai.
Fox Cohen Dobek.
Julie Claire Deedy.
Noah James Downing.
Tatiana Josephine Marie Dushaw.
Marco R. Dragutinovic.
Mitchell Davis Dutton.
Marty Marie Derlick.
Maria Diddick.
Nathan Christopher Dubsky.
Brooke Elizabeth Dinda.
Jordan Alexis Dudak.
Mark Allen East II. Yes, it is.
Blake Allen Duncan.
Austin Carl Eccles.
Corbin James Durr.
Sarah Annalise Ehrlich.
Maria Eshak Iskander.
Aiden Calvin Eichels.
Riley Kristen Falk.
Noor Muhammad Elderly.
Paige Lauren Fatula.
Alexandria Elizabeth Elias Weber.
Beatrice Flores Santos.
Hannah Kathleen Fuller.
Brandon Michael Ferryman.
Emily Grace Funk.
Daniel Eric Festa Jr.
Nell Marie Galarza.
Jack Mitchell Fetzer.
Nathaniel Edward Gancove.
Philip Matthew Fisher.
Zachary Michael Gaspar.
Garrett Matthew Phobel.
Brandon Richard Gazo.
David Andrew Greaves.
Ethan Charles Geis.
Victoria Marie Gregwire.
Saif Zaid Ghoul.
Jordan Santana Gross.
Benjamin David Gira.
Darren Anthony Gerke.
Rachel Elizabeth Glinsky.
Nicholas Carl Hodersky Cromer.
Jordan Mackenzie Harper.
Veronica Anna Halgus.
Nathan David Harris Goins.
Savannah Lee Hall.
Kaylee Marie Harris.
Matthias Joseph Hammer IV.
Chloe Rianne Heckman.
Daniel Russell Hanstein Jr.,
Aaliyah Maria Hedinger,
Ethan Donovan Holka,
Libby May Hershiser,
Tyrell Anderson Holly II,
Jack Clifford Hirsch,
Emily Rose Hollingsworth,
Andrew Gregory Nat,
Tyler Alexander Horde,
Julia Elizabeth Hogg,
Hannah Caitlin Huff,
Jeremy Bernard Holbert,
Tyler Vincent Houghton,
Elijah Jameer Jones,
David Stephen Rishko,
Austin Ronald Jarris,
Aiden Mark Hugney,
Yusra Fuad Jasser,
Muhammad Yasser Idis,
Joshua Michael Jelinek,
George Kirol Ilievsky,
Ariana Sky Jarek,
Layla Lynn Joyce,
Benjamin David Jewett,
Ryan Jacob Kahn,
Audrey Lynn Jika,
Mason Marshall Kaiser,
Alyssa Diane Jones,
Emma Grace Kalinowski,
Riley Marie Joy,
Max Joseph Kalinowski,
Garrett Brian Kellogg,
Gina Kang,
Kalissa K. Kendrick,
Cassandra Marie Cannonberg,
Aaron Michael Kennedy,
Christian Joel Kareem,
Stephen Lewis Kerr,
Jacqueline Faith Karpinski,
Nadia Allah Canham,
Elena Rose Kern Swanson,
Abinu Abdihel Care,
Lauren Avery Knotts,
Dylan O'Day Kim,
Caleb Gregory Kosis,
Josephine Ann Klein,
Jacob John Koschel,
Kayla Lynn Klingerman.
Maxwell Anthony Kotlars.
Anthony Emerson Lambert.
Corey Francis Kramer.
Cameron Faith Laracy.
Garrett Joseph Ted Cruzy.
Daniel John Lavelle.
Matthew Donald Kropp.
Michael Hansu Lee.
Kevin Lee Krasnowski Jr.
Sydney Marie Leon.
Raina Heidi-Ann Kuhn.
Brooke Diana Leslie.
Sarah Marie Cummerlin.
Jared Walker Lewis.
Benjamin Harold Lean.
Ching Yin Lee.
Kylie Rose Lindsay.
Serenity Marie Liebchen.
Andrew John Lepowski.
Yep. Yes. Yep.
Oh. Joshua Dillard Lopez. Kristen Anna Lovelace. Hannah Louise Lucas. Austin Lee Luke. And Sarah Jane Lynch.
So we now figure out, as we try to solve one problem by not shaking hands, I now have to figure out how to avoid all the very large rings that the girls wear when we fist bump. At this time, I would like to introduce the senior class president, Emily Lytle.
Hello, everyone. I'm Emily Lytle, the class president of the class of 2021. Clearly, our senior year has not exactly been like the senior year we all grew up seeing in the movies. When news of the pandemic first started going around, I don't think the majority of us realized the potential it had to be so life-changing. I'm sure you all remember the day that we found out we would be beginning spring break 1 week earlier due to news of the pandemic. For most of us, we were excited for the extra week off of school, yet we were oblivious to the tidal wave of obstacles that would make us wish to be back at school. For a portion of this year, a majority of us rolled out of bed, turned on the light, grabbed our Chromebook, and attended some of our classes before taking a field trip to our pantry for a snack. Our interactions with peers were turned into dreaded breakout rooms that immediately meant a group project. Our homes became our schools, our kitchens became our cafeterias, our bedrooms became our classrooms, and all of our lives changed. Whether for better or worse, each and every one of us has become a different person since the day that school became online. We watched last year's seniors, so excited for their promised grand finale to end their high school career, have everything come crashing down. We adjusted and worked our hardest to give them the celebration that they deserved. However, each and every single one of us worried what it meant for the future of our final year. The school year started off with brand new challenges that none of us had expected to face. Getting kicked out of a Google Meet due to Chromebook problems, giving class presentations and having to screencast, struggling to find the best room to make your Wi-Fi connection the strongest, and most importantly, trying to keep up. Tests became harder, work doubled, a pandemic was affecting the world, and who would have thought there was a shortage of toilet paper? The important thing is, we got through it and emerged stronger and more tech-savvy than before. We received news that we were allowed to go into school in person on designated days. Flurries of plans and discussions began as parents and teachers alike made decisions on the best way for us to learn in the adjusted learning situation. Green and white days, class on Fridays, whether to take the bus or be driven to school, and if the school would even have toilet paper. Now that we were allowed back into the school, what once felt like home became a foreign place that had a stiff and sterile feel to it. Social interactions were slow to begin again. We had to memorize a new schedule, meet new teachers face-to-face, and adhere to new guidelines of how close you were allowed to sit with your friends. We pushed through this and were finally able to attend school all together once more. However, this brought forth even more challenges than before. We were not sure if the rooms could fit the same amount of students with new desk distancing, waking up every single day of the week, hallways now feeling claustrophobic, and the burdensome difficulty of finding a lunch table in the cafeteria so that you didn't have to eat lunch in the middle gym. Sports were cleared to return, extracurriculars given the green light, and we were given a glimmer of hope once more. Adjustments, of course, were made. However, slowly we were able to develop a new normal that was as close to our past as possible. In this time, many of us became what you would think to be esteemed lawyers or politicians, learning to push the boundaries to allow us to have a safe and memorable senior year. Everyone truly joined forces and generated so many adjustments to past events, not to mention created new opportunities to give us a chance to celebrate our hard work over the past 4 years. Each regained event from the past has become a victory, one step closer to proving that we can adjust to almost anything. Senior superlatives, sports game spectators, Mr. Mustang, an in-person commencement, and our one last event as a class, prom. We have been able to take possibly the worst hand of cards dealt to us and turn it into something that each and every single one of us will never forget. Memories such as senior send-off, where we drove our cars throughout Strongsville, or going home to find a package delivered to you from someone who had adopted you on Facebook. This year may have been strange and unexpected, but from the help of each other, we have truly been able to make it the best that it possibly could be. Look around you. Would you have ever expected to be sitting here today in person with this many of your peers next to you to celebrate this momentous occasion? Would you have expected that in 1 week from now, you will be dressing up, taking pictures, and going to prom? Most of all, would you have expected prom to be on the football field and catered by food trucks? Of course not, but that is what makes our class so special, our resilience. Our final celebration of us together as a class at prom in such an unparalleled manner is the only way to close out our unprecedented year. Sure, we may not get to wear heels, but that saves us from our feet hurting from walking in them. And sure, we may not get to enjoy a catered meal. However, who wouldn't want to get the style of meal that they want rather than the same stuffy carbon copy meal that you would get at a regular prom? This is what makes us who we are. We are given obstacles to overcome, and we overcome them and add a spin to make it our own. We take every single adversity and learn from it, and use it to develop into something that breaks out of tradition and is just as much fun. Our class is undefinable. We are innovative, creative, and optimistic shapeshifters who roll with every single punch, and that is what makes all of us so special. After this day, we will all separate, and some of us may never see each other again, until one of us open up our dusty yearbooks to show our grandchildren so they can make fun of the way we do our hair and how we dress. But we will all take away one thing from this year and this school. We can do anything that we set our minds to, and we can face any adversity put in front of us. For one of the last times, we are a part of Strongsville High School, the place where we have grown from quiet and timid kids into adults hungry for a start in the world. For one final time, the class of 2021 is signing off. Please join me in the moment we have all been waiting for, the turning of the tassels. Let this symbolize the beginning of the rest of our lives. Would the class of 2021 please stand? And now, move the tassel from the right side over to the left. Congratulations, class of 2021!
Congratulations, class of 2021. And to the rest of you, I promise you I will not send you an email in the next 2 months. At this time, yes, I agree. At this time, the members on the stage, please exit. Graduates, you will follow. Thank you for coming today to celebrate this wonderful class. Your student will meet you in the parking lot. Have a great summer.